The thud of a machete splits dusty vines, and a breathless Englishman freezes. In the clearing ahead, a 7-meter wall of stone peers down like a petrified house, its carved beams and shuttered windows perfect, though no living soul has dwelt here for 2,000 years. This was Sir Charles Fellow's first glimpse of Lycia in 1838, and the moment a legend about hidden hoards and vanished people began.
Lycia sprawls along today's Turkish Riviera, where cedar-covered mountains collapse into cobalt sea. Scattered across that frontier lie cliff cities of the dead, necropoles chiseled straight from limestone. Local fishermen whispered of treasure walled away to thwart invaders. Fellows' sketches, flashed across Victorian London, made the rumour roar. Why carve eternity into rock? The tombs of Myra mimic timber houses, gabled roofs, door frames, even dowel holes. Reliefs show feasts, ship launches, warrior funerals, scenes meant to coax memory after the heartbeat fades. A single facade demanded months of pounding iron and bronze chisels against stone. Every few minutes paused to resharpen on portable whetstones that hissed in seawater. Moving monoliths required more than muscle. Lycian engineers pried blocks with poplar levers and driven wedges, then slid them on wooden sledges over wetted clay. At Xanthos, they lifted 20-ton slabs into the 12-meter Nereid monument. How? Picture 2 men turning a wooden capstan. Each full rotation wound rope around a drum, tugging a block 20 centimeters upward. 10 turns, 1 meter, slow but inexorable. A train of capstans and pulley pairs could hoist stone to the platform in an afternoon, proof that simple mechanics, multiplied, conquer gravity. From that platform, the Nereids sprang skyward, an ionic temple for the afterlife. Draped maidens, Nereids, stride between columns. Beneath them, marble panoplies freeze a king's siege. The detail rivals Athens, yet Xanthos lay days from the nearest Greek polis, a reminder of coastal trade that funneled ideas east and west. Lycia straddled empires yet guarded its identity. Persians taxed it, but local councils still debated in Lycian script, a tongue unrelated to Greek. Alexander folded the region into his conquests, splicing Hellenic myths with native cults. Romans later admired the Lycian League so much that Enlightenment thinkers would cite it while drafting the US Constitution. Prosperity did not guarantee permanence. Earthquakes, the Anatolian plate never rests, hammered Patara in 141 AD. Rebuilt theatres bear patchworks of Quake-era masonry. When Christian bishops turned pagan shrines into churches, craftsmen recarved reliefs, chiseling crosses over lion heads. Trade drifted north, Arab corsairs raided ports, and by the 8th century, whole valleys echoed only with goat bells. Did the Lycians disappear or dissolve? Farmers stayed, but language died. Inscriptions after 400 AD flipped to Greek, then Latin. Some families probably migrated inland as topsoil thinned and rivers silted harbours. Climate historians note a Mediterranean drought spike around 500 AD. Less rain means meager harvests and empty storehouses. Piece by piece, civic life unraveled. Still, stories of buried riches persisted. Locals speak of a sealed stair under the council hall at Xanthos, its final door blocked with blue stone that rings like metal. Archaeologists call it folklore, yet LiDAR surveys in 2024 mapped voids beneath the forum matching those tales. Excavation waits on funding, another cliffhanger written in bedrock. Imagine the worksite at dawn. Aromatic smoke from juniper fires drifts across bamboo scaffolds. Overseers shout counts in the Lycian tongue. Sled teams of oxen grunt as they heave blocks on greased logs. Children ferry water skins. Apprentices mix lime for plaster in sun-bleached pits. Every clang of metal echoes between cliffs and sea, a heartbeat tying labourer to monument. Each quarry block was numbered in red ochre, matching a chalk grid on the cliff face. Misplace one block and a freeze scene would misalign, so masons rehearsed the sequence like actors memorizing lines. A master sculptor might spend weeks refining a single Gorgon's curl, polishing with sand and olive oil until the marble shone. Tools were precious. Bronze picks contained tin imported from Cyprus. Iron tips came from the inland Taurus mines. Experimental digs have found discarded chisels reground to half their original length, testimony to thrift and to a supply chain that crossed mountain passes. Lycia's political genius matched its artistry. The League allotted votes by city size, 3 to giants like Xanthos, 1 to hamlets, blending equality and pragmatism. Strabo wrote that delegates met in Patara's Grand Bouleuterion, a house of councils ringed with seats like a theatre. Today, that chamber, newly restored, lets tourists sit where lawmakers once forged collective defense against pirates and tax collectors. Roman engineers later threaded aqueducts across gorges and stamped imperial portraits onto local coinage, yet allowed League rituals to persist. Inscriptions from the 2nd century CE record joint festivals honoring both Leto, mother of Apollo, and Roma, mother of empire, a diplomatic dance on limestone stages. The decline reads less like a collapse than a slow fade. After the 7th century raids, coastal folk moved uphill. Terraced fields overgrew with pine. By the Crusades, travelers mistook Myra's tombs for natural caves. Only the legends remained. If you strike the cliff at midnight, some said, a hollow boom answers from chambers packed with gold. Modern science adds its own allure. Drones map tomb clusters unreachable on foot. Photogrammetry stitches millions of points into 3D archives, allowing scholars to test whether architectural motifs replicate sacred geometry or simple domestic layout. One study in 2023 showed that tomb proportions mirror average Lycian house plans within 5%, a literal home for eternity. Yet digital replicas cannot replace the visceral chill of standing 3 stories up on a cliff ledge, palm pressed against chisel grooves still sharp under lichen. The workmanship compresses a millennium of hope, grief, and civic pride into every millimeter. Lycia's stones are not relics, they are dialogue partners. They ask how we commemorate the dead, how we balance local identity with global tides, how we wield technology in service of meaning. Answering requires us to crouch beside an ancient mason, feel the capstan rope burn our palms, and look outward toward the horizon he also saw, where mountains plunge into light-splintered sea. Perhaps that is Lycia's final gift, perspective. Empires measured in legions and galleys vanish, but a mason's patient strokes endure. With each tourist's gasp beneath sun-scorched cornices, the Lycians speak again, reminding us that what we carve, into stone, into lore, into collective memory, outlives the hands that carve it.